Does whipping off a ledge make stupid jump easier, more consistent by giving more clearance to not hit the corner? Well, let's see, actually. That's a valid point. I didn't test any of that, so there's one way to figure this out. You might be right now that I think about it, if you could time the whip correctly. So let's see how that looks. Let's do one that's impossible, but let's whip on our way off the edge to see what would happen. And this ties into the fact that if you're in the attacking state, when you fall off the edge, you will accelerate downward faster. So let's... Entity, player 1, detach. I don't like having to do this every single level. Alright, so pay attention to this stuff here. State doesn't really matter that much. That'll just be attacking state. I guess I could show both of them. Alright, so here's all the pertinent information. Coyote timer, player state, and velocity. So normally, if you don't do any whipping and you run off the edge like this, right here, you have velocity of 0.01 because you still have coyote frames, and it's hard to clear this corner. You will bonk this corner if you jump. So the thought that's here that I had not thought of this before was, what if you did this lineup but you fell a little bit further before inputting the jump? Because first of all, if you jump, you get extra height above the ledge. This is the peak of my jump right here, and you can see I'm about a quarter of a tile higher than the ledge. So falling a little bit further isn't going to prevent me from grabbing this ledge if I can get around this little corner right here. So it's possible that maybe whipping would help, and the problem with that would be it's more buttons to press, and your whip needs to be ended before you get to the corner here, which I don't think is too hard. I think you wouldn't be able to whip for that long normally. So let's pick a lineup that specifically doesn't work and see how that turns out. And if that is a thing that you could do, I'll have to change this calculator to be able to accommodate that if I want to have it be accurate. So let's whip a couple frames early. Like right here would be a realistic place for somebody to start their whip, I think. And we have high velocity, which means we're falling down further. And if we jump on the last coyote frame, we still didn't get it. So it's not going to be free. That was still optimal timing on the coyote frames, and that still wasn't enough. But this might make it possible to get one that like is almost but not quite possible. So let's try a couple setups. So input my jump. Nope, we still bonked on that one. Let's try one. Let me do this in real time. Let's try that one. That one's a little bit more generous. Again, you can just whip. It's not very precise when you have to do the whip. You just need to be whipping during your 5 or so coyote frames. Let's try a jump here. Oh, there you go. Alright, so yeah, that's actually interesting. I never really thought of this, but there you go. That made it possible to do a jump that wouldn't have been normally. I still had to do it on the correct frame, however. So it was still a frame-perfect trick, but it took a jump that was going to be impossible no matter what I did, and actually gave me just enough leeway to do it. So it increases your chances. That's actually huge. I don't know if anybody's thought of this before, so congratulations. So you just have to whip and time your jump correctly, and maybe an impossible stupid jump becomes possible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to like just make one happen here on a whim, but we'll try it. So I'm trying to get one that I know is not possible. And I'm not jumping early enough. It's a little bit harder to do this because I do have to hit multiple buttons, see if it works on... Oh, that's interesting, actually. That's a good point. We'll try that in a second here. That could be really big if that actually is a consistent lineup. Let me try this first. Nope, that one didn't work anyways. Yeah, whatever. I'm going to scuff this for an hour if I keep doing this. So how does this lineup look? Oh, that's going to be close. This lineup is really shitty is the thing. This is a lot of overlap. The character moves at 1/7 of a tile approximately per frame. This is almost as bad as it can get. So let's find out if that'll work. So frame advance, start running, still holding right, start whipping. And let's jump on the last possible coyote frame. So frame 2, input my jump. Nope, not quite. That would have been huge if that actually worked, but that still isn't going to do it, even on the optimal frame. That's unfortunate. That was a good idea, but this overlap is just so bad It's so far into the tile, and then on the next frame, like for anyone who doesn't understand what this is the last frame in which I am standing on this tile. The next frame, I'm no longer standing on it. That's what this is detecting, and you want to be as far up to the edge as you can get without actually stepping off the edge, and that improves your odds of getting the coyote jump at the correct time and being able, or rather, it improves your odds of being able to do the stupid jump. You still have to do it on the correct coyote frame, which is frame 2. I don't know if there's going to be a setup that allows you to do it on frame 3. I suspect not, so it's always going to be a frame perfect trick. But what Cloyce is talking about with the whip is since you fall a little further down, you can get a little more clearance around this corner, and jumps that were almost but not quite possible can become possible. Unfortunately, this is not one of them. This like constant like run up that always shows up in the dwelling is unfortunately still not doable with that setup. But this jump, for instance, might be possible because this one's a little bit more lenient. So if we whip and run off the edge of just whatever this one is, and then jump, this one's possible, even though the calculator predicted it wasn't. That's because it didn't account for the whip dropping the player down a little bit. So that's very cool, though. This is still an interesting discovery. If you're able to like do the inputs to get this, you could probably make your stupid jumps a little bit more consistent by doing that. Well, whether or not I'll get one is a bit to be determined, I suppose. Let me see if I can get one. So again, I'm looking for setups that almost but don't quite make it. And I'm jumping too early there. It's hard enough to do this anyways, so this is just making it more complicated. That one's not going to make it for sure. This one should be possible. I jumped too early. Jump too late. We're not going to do this for too much longer, so if you've got more questions, feel free to fire them off in chat. It doesn't have to be directly related to this. I think I'm whipping too early there. And jumping too early. I'm not terribly good at doing this in the first place. Like, I'll get it first try occasionally, but it's really a crapshoot. And the fact that I need to input whip is actually making it harder for my brain to time the jump as well. So this could be more difficult depending on who you are. In my case, I think it's making it actually harder for me. I'd almost rather just fail at the normal number of times. Because I cannot get this. My brain is having trouble timing the jump and the whip at the same time. So if I just go back to like trying to do these normally with setups that I know work, see if I can get one. There we go. See, I got one like after 3 tries there. So I don't know. This might be easy for some people. It's not helping me though. I'm going to make a note to dig into this more and see what the lenience is if you are whipping instead and you get that little extra. I wonder how much that increases it. We know it increases it a little bit. I very much wonder how much it is. So let me update my notes here real quick. So there we go. We discovered something. Well done. Let's just put this as a to-do at the top. I wonder if that makes a few other edge cases possible. There's one edge case I want to check right now. It's been in your notes for a while. I'm glad you brought it up. I had not thought about that at all. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That the falling state could actually be combined with the stupid jump. The tech in this game is stupid sometimes. Not just because it's called the stupid jump. So let me close this. There is one setup that I want to look at here. And that is in the dwelling. This one comes up a lot for runs that have to go through the back layer. Basically runs where you're bad, like I am. This is it right here, actually. We got it first try. This stupid jump right here. So if you go through the door and try to do this stupid jump. So let me... actually, I'm going to bonk the ceiling. Let me reset it. Need to jump at the correct time or this is not going to work. So let's go through the door. And then you would want to do the stupid jump here. And I believe this stupid jump is actually impossible to do from this lineup. So if I jump right now, let's see if I clear the gap or if I fall too early. I think I jumped too early. Yeah, I jumped too early. Let's try that one again. So go back through the door. Alright, so let's do that jump from like right here. That should clear the gap, but not bonk on the wall ahead of me. Come on, make it. There we go. So there you go. You see the lineup. This stupid jump is never possible if you just run from the door, clear this gap, and then attempt it. Unfortunately, the lineup is just bad. But I wonder if we do the trick that we just learned, will that actually allow it to happen? So if I whip now while holding right, is that enough to make this one possible? So coyote frame 2, press jump. Nope. You still get the ledge hang. So, oh well, I just wanted to check that particular setup because that's one that actually happens and runs a lot. Such is the way with these things. Would have been nice.